Taking your time is actually ruining your life. Time kills all deals. By removing time from your projects and goals and the things you're accomplishing in life, you will get so much done faster and not run the risk of actually losing sight of the goal or getting a deal done. I've watched people that have let so much time enter into their goals that it gets pushed out to the point where they lose it, or someone else took their idea, or they take an entire lifetime to accomplish what could have been done in a decade or less. It's super important to understand how time functions in relation to what you're doing and your projects and your goals. I'm Meg Epstein, and I have built a very successful business and family in under 10 years and have accomplished what most people take a lifetime to achieve by removing time. So this is how I constantly try to remove time out of everything I am doing, and starting by looking at different projects in your work, goals in your life, and your overall situation. How can you take time out of everything you're doing and working on? When I try to tell my team time kills all deals, the common example I look at is that we build real estate projects. We get paid a fee to build each project. So call it on average $2 to $4 million per project that I build. I get paid a fee to do that, right? If that project now in real estate, it can take 6 months to break ground on a project, meaning I have to do a bunch of tasks to get a project ready to build, meaning plans, entitlements, a bunch of due diligence, hiring engineers, doing a bunch of tests on the land. All of the things that go into building a real estate development project can take anywhere from 6 months to 5 years, depending on what city you're working in and how hard it is to get approved. What I look at is, okay, I'm going to make a fee to do this one building. If it takes me 4 years overall to do that project, or I let it drag out to 6 years, I'm still making that same amount of money. If you look at the fact that, one project should take 4 years and I get paid $4 million, that's $1 million a year, but I let the economy dictate what's happening. It takes me much longer to raise the capital. The banks, are frozen right now and I can't get debt. If I let that drag out, or you let the GC, the general contractor slip and the project schedule slips. If I let that project drag out and it takes 5 years or 6 years, I'm actually making less than that $1 million per year on that project. I'm making 750. But, and you compound that by, if I'm doing, 3 projects at any given time, or 3 to 5 projects at any given time, it's the difference between me making $3 million a year on those 3 projects versus $2 million a year. So it's significant. You're talking 30 to 40% difference just by allowing more time to be entered into projects. And so that's one way where I look at how fast can I get this work done and how can I get it done faster. And this applies to my personal life as well. Like when I'm very focused on a goal, like my husband and I decided we wanted to have children, we basically removed time out of it. And we said, okay, we're going to get all these things done before we have kids. We want to be financially set up. We want to build our dream home. We want to have all this foundation laid. And so instead of taking 10 years to have 4 kids, we will have 4 kids that are all under 2. So we adopted 2 and we had to. But we basically took this goal of having a family and reduced the time out of it. Now we have 4 children under 2, which people would say we're crazy. But actually, if you look at it, one, we waited longer in life. So we're a lot more established. We're a lot more financially stable. We have a lot more resources to make it a very enjoyable experience. We have tons of help and people that take care of our home and cook and do all the things that make it us able to be present as parents. And I would argue that it's actually a lot more efficient because I have a bunch of diapers and bottles and they're all kind of the same age and doing all the same activities at once. And so instead of me going to soccer for the next 10 years, I'll be able to do that in about 2 years at certain times, right? So I'm just removing time out of a situation that would normally take a decade to have 4 kids, or most people. I'm reducing it down because I think I've accomplished something in a much more concentrated amount of time. It's an interesting approach that has made me very successful. So here's some ways that I really try to remove time from my work and my life. in my work with my team or anybody I work with, I'm constantly pushing people to question their timelines. Like, I'll have an engineer tell me it takes 60 to 90 days to give me a survey. It doesn't take that long. I don't know why it would take that long. There's no reason it should. There's a recession. A lot of people just go, "Oh, it's going to take that much time." So I usually question, ask a lot of questions, work with them, and try to figure out a timeline that's not as long and just automatic, because a lot of people just think that it takes a lot more time to accomplish things than it actually does. If you really look at it, I go, "Okay, how many hours is this really going to take?" I understand your workload. I understand you have those jobs, but like, can we push this and push this? And if you do that across all of your teams and all the people you work with, you do get a lot of things happening faster because you're really questioning timelines. Another aspect of life and business that I like to remove time from is payment. So, everyone that works with me, if you are anybody that works at a job or at a company, it's always better to get paid faster, isn't it? You always are happy getting paid quickly if you bill someone, and I like paying my people quickly. I also like getting paid quickly. So if I'm owed money, I am pushing AR, accounts receivable, to get that money in the door, because no matter what, that money can be used for something else to make more money. And it just doesn't drag out your financials. So I'm always pushing in receiving as much money as I can every month to hit my P&L and paying it out as quickly. So I remove time out of my financials, and I believe that helps push my projects faster. So if you have outstanding bills or, people that need to be paid, get them paid very quickly. And also, if you need to be paid, or you just haven't invoiced someone, or you have work outstanding, pull it in. It'll make you money faster by keeping your financial lines very rapid. If you look at the processes and things in your life you're working on right now, get them done faster. So for me, the most important aspect of my job is raising capital and finding projects. So if I'm working with an investor to give me money, I follow up with them consistently. I handle their questions. If they ask me a question or they request a report or market information, I get it to them in 24 hours. I do not let it just, a weekend pass and Monday and Tuesday and not do the paperwork and let a bunch of time enter into the process, because the tighter you can control a scenario or a situation, the tighter you can control the outcome. So I always remove time when I'm raising capital or working with an investor, and answer them quickly, follow up with them quickly, push to get answers so that that cycle can be done, versus so many times where I've let time enter into raising capital and a pandemic can happen, or the person, other project that's totally unrelated to you, something could go wrong with it, or someone could have a health problem and they put it on hold. I mean, there's a million things that can happen if you let a bunch of time pass when doing a deal. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect that I've really tried to remove time from is when I'm trying to find a project. Like, if I find a project I like, I have my team on it. We're doing due diligence as quickly as possible. We're submitting our contract. I do not, like any other time, another person can come along and take the deal because, you took a couple weeks longer than you needed to. Why are you taking longer? What is the reason you're taking longer? Are you just procrastinating? It always results in slower progress and potentially losing your deals. Another thing I do is I make decisions quickly, as long as I have all the information that is needed to make that decision. So, example, I see this all the time with home renovations. My contractor or my architect says, well, okay, we need to know what color paint you want in this room. And I see homeowners and investors sit on this type of thing and go, why don't you go ahead and think about it? Think about it for what? Like, look at all the color options, make a decision quickly. I always make decisions quickly as I can, as long as I have all of the information. If you have all of the information, don't sit on a decision. Make it so that the progress can be pushed forward and it doesn't just keep being pushed out. If I have all the information, I make the decision quickly. I don't just hold on for the sake of thinking about it. I look at all the information and I make the decision quickly. And that's really, really important. So if you have any maybes that you're stuck in, or, things out in your life that you haven't decided about, just start making some decisions, and you'll see other dominoes falling into place and progress being made a lot more quickly because of that. So definitely take a moment to look at your work, your life, your projects, and see where can you remove time? Where can you wrap up things quickly? Where can you make decisions? Where can you take time out of a scenario to make progress faster? I hope you found this very helpful. If you'd like to know more about how I've found success, please check out this next video.